Alrighty, g'day guys. Welcome back to Stat Chat Sports. We've got a Premier League podcast for you today. Tazza with the health and safety protocols that finally got to him, but he is here today with us. Tazza, how are you feeling, mate?
I've been feeling better, but yeah, look, we soldier on. We make the effort, we get there, but yeah, it's been rough. It's been a long time coming. I'll definitely say that. You guys bit the bullet a lot earlier than I did, but I finally had to bite it at some point.
And a positive test result straight after our last recording as well. So um, we kind of called it after the recording. We spoke. He said he wasn't feeling all that great, and
Yeah, we
lo and
did.
behold, it got him. So, but no, it's all good. We're all here. It's good to have you here, mate. So, we're looking back at last week's Premier League action as always, with the hit and the miss. Our hit this week is Leeds. I think a couple of weeks ago now, we had them as the miss, and since then they've picked up a couple of wins. One against Liverpool, and then this week against Bournemouth, two late goals from Crescencio Somerville to seal the win for both in both of those games. But they've found a little bit of form, you can say. They don't mind leaving it late, but they're picking up the points where it matters.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about them as part of a relegation battle, and now they're all of a sudden they're sitting in 12th spot. They're climbing their way up to mid-table. So it just shows how quickly fortunes can turn in this league. I mean, personally, I almost created. It seemed like a chasm that the three teams in the relegation battle couldn't break out. They were stuck there. We never knew how they were going to get out, and we look at it, and Leeds are out. Well, they're not safe. No one's safe because it's that tight down the bottom. But they've done more than enough to get out for now. And that game was a topsy turvy affair. I mean, Leeds looked for all money like they were done.
To come from 3-1 down in the second
Yeah,
half.
yeah. The Ellen Rovers rocking after that penalty in the first minute. They thought, all right, here we go, easy afternoon, and it was dead quiet. Well, I think it was half time. It was dead quiet. It was pretty depressing, but yeah, what a turnaround! And all credit to Leeds. They fought back. There were a couple of nice goals in there. This Sam Greenwood, the one that bounced out in the box and he buried that pretty much top bins. That was pretty impressive. And Somerville with the winner. I think it was the 80 odd minute. I can't remember.
Yeah, the 84th minute, I think it was.
84th. Yeah, he's put together a nice little patch. Somerville. I think that's 3 goals in 3 games.
I saw that it might be 3 and 4, but all three of those goals came late on. This being the earliest of the 184th. The one against Liverpool was in the late 90s anyway. And then it was a consolation that he scored, which was his third one, but that still came. I think it was in the 92nd minute.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, he's got that clutch level about him, and it's good. Leeds would take the goals whenever they come, and to be nailing them in those late periods is huge. So, yeah, I mean, 2 wins on the bounce. They do come up against Tottenham next up, so much harder affair this time around. But who knows? I mean, the form is turning around for them.
Yeah, you can look at the stats of this game and think that they probably deserve to be in the game. Almost just about a 60-40% possession split. They only had 4 shots on target, and obviously all 4 of them going in. But they had 18 shots. So Jesse Marsch has been calling them his mentality monsters after games, and you can sort of see why. They asked going 3-1 down after half time, not long after the second half had started, would have been crushing because 2-1, you're in the game, sort of thing. Anything can happen there. But to go 3-1 down early, it would have taken a lot of mental resolve to bounce back from that, and which obviously they did. So I think it's rightly fair for Jesse Marsch to be throwing out that sort of praise to his team. But yeah, they've just hopefully they can look to build onto this. Spurs didn't well, I wouldn't actually. I'll take that. I was going to say they didn't play all that great against Liverpool, but they probably deserve to get more out of that result than what they did. So yeah, it's going to be a much tougher opposition. Looking forward to this week, but they beat Liverpool, so I suppose anything's possible.
Yeah, I mean anything's possible in this league. We've seen. I just spoke about how confined that bottom is in the table. Anyone can be moving up or down drastically off the back of a couple of good or a couple of bad games.
Speaking of which, I know it's a little bit off topic, but Southampton have slipped into that relegation now, and it is seemingly rumoured, not confirmed to my knowledge, but seemingly rumoured that Southampton will part ways with Ralph. I'm going to call him. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce his last name, but they're going to part ways with the manager after the Liverpool game before the World Cup, essentially.
Yeah, okay. I thought that was confirmed. I'm not sure if I've just seen the rumours, but yeah, that's an interesting one. I mean, he's been there for a while now. I think that's 4 seasons, probably.
He's been there for a while, and his form chart would definitely be a wavy one.
Oof, yeah. It's up and down. He's seen some thrashings. He's been at the helm of some thrashings, the bad kind of on the receiving end. So,
I've actually got
he
the
has
stat
managed
here
to turn it
since March of 2022. Sorry, that's this year. So since March this year, they've had 26 games. They've won 4, drawn 5, and lost 17, scoring 21 goals and conceding 54.
Oh, oof. So if my maths is correct, that's a minus 33 goal difference in that period. That's not good. That's getting you nowhere. That's getting you absolutely nowhere but relegation. So, yeah, maybe it is time Southampton pulled the pin. I mean, they haven't done a hell of a lot of note over the last 4 years, so something's got to change. And I think 4 years is more than enough time to turn it around or prove that you're the man. And if you're not getting it done by this point, you probably need to be moved on.
Well, it sounds like Southampton's our miss, but they're not. They quite easily could have been after being drummed by Newcastle, but they're not. We'll move on to the miss. It is, in fact, Manchester United this week. 3-1 loss to Aston Villa. First game under Unai Emery, and he gets the job done.
Yeah, look, we like to talk about the new manager bounce, and maybe it's a thing again. I mean, Gerrard had it at the same club. But Emery is a class coach. He is a class manager. There's a reason he's had some top jobs in the world, because he is of that ilk. And huge get for Aston Villa, really, and a huge performance as well. I mean, United have been pretty. They've looked better, but they haven't been super convincing of late. And this is continuing on that trend. I'm not sure what is going on there. I haven't watched enough of United personally to really put it down to one thing, but Emery's got it right here. It's huge effort from guys like Jacob Ramsey was great. Nice little finish. Bury that top corner. But I mean, he had the goal begging basically right in front, but still, he buried it, and he did finish nicely. But I mean, the start that Villa got here, they were out of the blocks so quick, and the Luka Dean free kick was pretty nice as well.
Did you see what Emi Martinez was doing behind him?
He's lining them up, yeah,
lining up the I think it was the couple of Villa players in the wall to help block the keeper's view.
Yeah, he was way out of his box. If that went pear-shaped, he was in a lot of trouble. And because Luka Dean took that free kick, and Martinez was basically still lining up that wall. So if that had gone pear-shaped and United had legs out, he was done. He was toast.
You could say it worked for him, because they got nowhere near it. That was just as good, just about as good a placement as you can get.
Yeah. Wrap the left foot around Luka Dean, and it was sumptuous. And I mean, he's shown that before. He's got a bit of a foot for set pieces and dead ball situations like that. That's not the first time we've seen him play. When I say play a ball in, I mean play a ball in from a set piece. So it's yeah, good to see.
So let's talk about United here real quick. With obviously a lack of leadership group on the park, giving the armband to Cristiano Ronaldo after what happened not 2-3 weeks ago is a questionable decision.
Yeah, I mean, you look at that lineup. I mean, it's hard to make a case for really anyone in that squad.
For me, it would have to be to go to David De Gea.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, I mean, he's the senior player in especially in that lineup. He's definitely the senior player there. Um, you almost, I lean to giving it to either centre back or a central midfielder, as I think most people in the world would.
Mm.
Casemiro probably hasn't been there long enough. Same with Ericsson. I don't think they've earned the right to the armband. Martinez and Darlow, I mean, that's same. I mean, Darlow's been there for a while,
He's
but
only really
he doesn't
broken
have
into the first team.
exactly. Lindelof, yeah. Lindelof would he's been there for a while, but same. He's in and out. Um, but yeah, Ronaldo's not the right choice either.
Mm.
It's De Gea all the way, and I don't know. I give it to someone who wears the team on their sleeve, or would put the team on their back and does the right things for the team, even when the chips aren't falling his way.
Mm.
And that's exactly what Ronaldo hasn't done. I mean, I had a rant, what was it, a couple of weeks ago about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you know how I feel, and
Mm.
I completely agree. It was probably the wrong call.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw his little spat that he had with Tyrone Mings in the box as well. He almost had a little
Mm,
bit of a wrestling match there too.
yeah.
Now I haven't seen it like in depth to the point where I can tell who was sort of at fault and who sort of started it. But Ronaldo has a tendency to get a little bit fired up at times when things aren't really going his way. So but you're wearing the armband for Manchester United here in this game. That's the sort of shit that you can't get yourself involved in.
You, you can't let things like that get under your skin. And I think that's another. I don't like forwards wearing an armband. I don't think you should be ahead of the play. Um, I mean, I personally I don't play football, but especially in other sports, you don't want your captain or someone who should be organising the team ahead of the play. You want them in the play or looking back at the play. So is he the most decorated player in that team? Without a doubt. Is he the most important player in that team? No, not anymore. And he isn't the most important part of their play either. So he's not central to that play. So it's a bit of a waste and a wrong call.
So as much as United are the miss here, they're not in dire straits by any means. They're still fifth. They're only 3 points off the mark. Only two wins in their last five. However, the two draws came across against Chelsea and Newcastle. So that's nothing to slouch about there. They've been picking up some points, but we have sort of seen that up and down wave from them at times this season. So this is a miss for this week. Definitely not for their recent form. They play Fulham next, who are in pretty good form themselves.
Unlucky to lose to City.
Definitely unlucky to lose against City, in my opinion. They definitely deserved the point. So yeah, they've taken it to probably the best team in the country at the moment. So there's no reason why they couldn't get something against United. But to remain with that pack, if United were to lose points again, and the rest of that top four to all win, that opens up that gap to 6 points, and will make it definitely a lot tougher for them to catch up.
All right, looking to our next segment, our star and our dunce of the week. This week we're heading towards. It was a little hard to pick this one probably this week, but we have settled as a group on Youri Tielemans from Leicester City. It's Leicester have seen somewhat of a revival. 3 wins in their last four. I mean, a lot of the league had them penciled in for. No one really truly believed that they were the 20th best team in the league, but they were struggling. They were just leaking goals for fun. Brendan Rodgers was seemingly on the way out, couldn't do anything right. And then pop up guys like Youri Tielemans and James Maddison, and they're picking this team up on their back and just taking him straight up the Premier League table. And Youri Tielemans, the man doesn't score normal goals. He only scores worldies. I don't get it. It's just one of those uncanny abilities to bang goals in outside of the box whenever you feel like it. Just another beautiful effort.
Yeah, it's pleasing on the eye to watch. But this goal in particular, I mean, the technique behind it to bring it down, and then it's not even really like he laces it. He almost picks his spot in a way. It's yeah, pleasing on the eye to watch. And he did a similar thing a couple of weeks ago. I can't remember who it was against off the top of my head, but he did another almost identical, scored an almost identical goal to this. And he's a joy to watch. He's definitely no stranger to a belter outside the box. So it's not just these two recent goals. Many goals that his Leicester career has been similar things. So yeah, it's good to see. I mean, he's taken the role of the captain armband recently, and he's playing his part. Whereas early days it was kind of looking like James Maddison was carrying that team. Everyone seems to have sort of picked up a little bit more, and Tielemans chipping in with the goals that he has helped them to pick up those points. And at the other end of the park, they're keeping them out. I think they've conceded 1 goal in their last 5, and that was to City, which they only lost by 1 goal. So they're starting to do it at both ends of the park. And Tielemans being that focal point, that central point in the middle, you can say that he's played a big part towards that.
Yeah, he was the subject of huge transfer rumours, especially linking him to Arsenal. And I mean, after that first probably dozen games, he must have been thinking, what have I done? You got Arsenal sitting at one end, literally opposite ends of the table. Yeah. Arsenal sitting in first, and they're sitting dead last, and he's probably thinking, geez, I've just missed my golden chance to really, make a name for myself at a big name club. But look, he's been at the forefront of helping Leicester turn what was a pretty crap season into possibly salvaging something. It's Matchweek 16 this week, so I mean, there's 24 games to go. Anything could happen from here. So who knows? I mean, their 3 wins have come against lower teams. Let's be honest, and the 1 loss against City, an honourable loss, definitely, but we still need to see a little bit more from Leicester. We need to see them beating sort of proper mid-table teams. I can't really remember the fixture list, but they need to get some bigger scalps to really start getting people convinced of a proper turnaround. But I mean, Tielemans is definitely doing the right thing to help him along. All right, dunce of the week. We love to look at just idiotic moments. I mean, that's basically the definition of a dunce, is just being an absolute idiot. Generally, when you're flopping around, just diving around, just absolute nonsense, you're going to end up as the dunce. This week, Kevin De Bruyne, take a bow. You are the dunce. He's a class player. He's an absolute class player. He's the best midfielder in the comp. But it's absolutely, it grinds my gears to see players of that caliber stoop so low, and start diving and start winning. I mean, yes, it was a crucial penalty. It got them the 3 points, but you hate to see it from guys like that because I've always thought of him as a stand-up guy, just a proper player. And I mean, I'm not going to have my opinion changed based on one incident, but it's a bad look for him. It was a terrible dive, in my opinion. Was there contact? Yes. Was there minimal? It was about a hair. It looked like it. It looked like the air brushed by his foot. That's I don't know. It looked like minimal, absolute minimal contact, and he is sold it like an absolute champion. Fair play to him. He got him the 3 points, but it's a bad look.
Yeah, I think this pick could be the subject of some controversy, but I 100% agree. I think I watched it live. I saw it play out. I watched like that last sort of 10-15 minutes of the match, and then you saw it happen, and then the second it happened in real time, I knew it was going to be given. And then, it probably looked worse in real time than what it did on the replay.
Mm-hmm.
But then you see the replay and like you said, the bare minimal of contact, but even still, that's not going to get overturned in something like VAR these days, I don't think. But yeah, from a player like De Bruyne, I don't know, I suppose he doesn't really seem to get himself in those areas where, the potential for him to dive to win a penalty is sort of there. But I've never sort of, thought of De Bruyne to be a potential player like that. And I don't know if it's because so many people have different opinions, or, maybe the majority of people didn't see it as a dive and they saw it as a legitimate penalty, because I'm not seeing it being talked about enough. Whereas I'm going to bring in the Liverpool bias here, but if that happened to Mohamed Salah, the uproar would just be immense. It would be on every social media page, Salah dives again, blah, 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 this, that. But,
Liverpool.
Oh, God. Yeah, exactly. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of begs the question, I suppose, as to why it's not being talked about. I mean, you can't change it. You can't change anything about it. It's done. But still, this is, in my opinion, and obviously yours as well, this was a dive, and I know it was the opinion of an Arsenal mate of mine who was watching it at the time with me.
Yeah, I can imagine.
He would have been dying for a draw here. And I mean, he said the same thing. I don't know if that's because he's an Arsenal fan, but he saw it as a dive too.
Yeah, I mean, imagine if Harry Kane had done that.
He would have got praised.
Yeah. It just would have been. Yeah, he probably would have, but I mean, his reputation precedes him maybe a little bit, but I don't know, maybe that's it. Maybe Kevin De Bruyne is, because he like you said, he hasn't found himself in this situation before. He's usually probably one pass behind the play of this kind of play. He's usually not the guy in the box. He's usually the guy feeding it to them. So he hasn't had the opportunity to open himself up to this kind of criticism. But I mean, yeah, it's not something I expected to see from him. So it sucks to see that kind of thing from a player like that.
Yeah, well, even the best can have a duncy moment. So it's
yeah.
But
we've looked at some very good players in this section, in this segment. So look, we all have bad days.
No, well, that's we'll wrap it up there. We've only got one more weekend of Premier League left before the break for the World Cup. So that video will be out later on in the week. But thanks for joining us on this one. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.